Hello, folks. Today is January 25th, 2021. We got a lot of crime we gotta talk about because you know how the media is being absent from it. You know how they have coronavirus fever. That's not going away anytime soon. They just have a fascination with it. And it's a problem not notifying the public about the crime getting out of hand. You know, it's just very disturbing. And I could go borough by borough. I could do what I need to do, but I'm only focused on my main areas of Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan, because that's my jurisdiction in a sense. So we're gonna get into a lot that needs to be discussed. First of all, let's talk about Spectrum News, New York One. What's on their web page? Lottery tickets sold. Okay, what about crime? Public safety. Autonomous zone. Let's see what happens. Yeah, transit. Port Authority wants to rebuild that. Ugh. Ridiculous. I'm just disgusted with New York One. They don't care about crime. Let's see if they have anything. Just very quickly taking a look at this. Yeah, all they're talking about is national news. National news. Why aren't I surprised about this? Oh, this is a sad story. I'll read this article before we move on. Look at one more. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. Nothing relevant to crime. Alright, let me check community and neighborhoods. Let's check Manhattan. Oh, at least they're going to Harlem. So, at least they're being diverse about Harlem. Okay, but nothing... Yeah, see, nothing about the crime. Nothing about the crime. You look at Queens. I mean, this is ridiculous. Where's the crime news? Where's the crime news? You have to be like me to go all over the internet and find all these stuff. And that's a lot of stuff we're going to get into today. Let's get into this sad story. Bronx man is arrested after his 8-year-old son accidentally shoots himself in the head. Eric King is still traumatized after what unfolded Martin Luther King Day in the Bronx. When I came in, I saw the child on the floor, he said. There was blood everywhere. His neighbor, an 8-year-old boy who lives in a gated community, accidentally shot himself in the head back on Martin Luther King Day on January 19th. King said the boy's siblings started knocking on the door asking for help. The parents were frantic, so I ran back to my place to call 911. Police say it happened in the afternoon hours, 12:30 p.m., after the 8-year-old discovered his dad's Rajon Grant's handgun inside his home at Fordham Hill Oval. Grant was arrested and charged with criminal possession of a weapon and endangering the welfare of a child. So, just awful. Especially how this happened on Martin Luther King Day. Very sad. Especially how the boy probably didn't have school. Remember, the elementary kids, they're in hybrid learning. So, that's just sad. Alright, the good news is the boy was rushed to New York Presbyterian Hospital. He was in critical but stable condition. So, I mean, these parents are just being so reckless with their firearms, I mean, I said this, a lot of people are going to buy firearms this year because the crime is just getting out of hand. I'm not surprised this happened. No. Alright, at least they covered the shooting last night that happened in Jamaica. So if you didn't hear, there was a police-involved shooting in Jamaica last night. Let me move this up. Alright, so it says here that police shot a man in Queens Sunday night after answering a call of a stolen vehicle. The NYPD says a man told officers that he had left the keys in his car and 2 other men drove away with it. Chief of Patrol Juanita Williams said the officers were able to track the victim's cell phone, which was still inside the vehicle at 97th Avenue between Allendale Avenue and Liverpool Street in Jamaica. The officers went to their location and spotted the stolen car with the two men inside. According to Holmes, as the officers left their vehicle to confront the two men, the men accelerated in reverse and struck a marked vehicle. Holmes said one officer fired his gun and struck the man in the passenger seat, a 28-year-old, in the chest. The man was transported to Jamaica Hospital and is said to be in stable condition. The other man, a 21-year-old, was taken into custody without incident, according to Holmes. According to Holmes, the two officers were taken to a local hospital for evaluation, but are expected to be okay. Oh, and then look at this. Even though I did mention coronavirus fever, take a look at this. Yeah, they busted an illegal party in Queens. I mean, this is technically crime news, so I'll get into that. So at least New York won. I guess I was somewhat wrong about New York won, but the other articles we're going to read are from other websites that I was able to obtain. Alright, so the city sheriff office says it's lights out at an illegal Queens club that packed dozens of people into a basement at 16-25 Roosevelt Avenue, violating emergency orders set in place by Mayor Bill de Blasio and Governor Andrew Cuomo. Police say that they busted the gathering at 12:30 a.m. Sunday and had more than 70 people were inside the basement. Police say those in attendance were drinking, smoking hookah, and not social distancing. Yep, they're already breaking the rules. Right there. And here's the most important thing. The establishment did not have a liquor license. There we go. Yeah, actually, I want to take a look at this. Yeah, see? Yeah, look at that. Nobody was even social distancing. But again, I'm going to give my credit to the sheriff's office. I mean, they've been getting involved whenever these illegal gatherings have been happening lately during this pandemic. Alright, the FDNY was on scene after this, well, because entrances were blocked off, making it dangerous set had there been a fire or emergency. The National Guard had to respond to the incident after reports of high level of carbon monoxide was being sent into the crime space. So, the sheriff's office, deputy sheriffs, they've been monitoring the space. Oh boy, look at that. The owner, Marco Chichon, when the deputy sheriff tried to enter the building, met them with physical force. Chichon was arrested on a variety of charges, including disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and facing a fine of $15,000 for organizing the mass gathering. Police say 63 people inside face civil penalties of $1,000. People in the neighborhood like Henry Sanchez said he had no idea what went there early Saturday morning and was very surprised by the news. So, there you go. And I'm not going to get into anything else, but, yeah, Richmond Hill, that's alarming to hear, Richmond Hill's seeing a high rate of infection. That is very alarming, but we're not going to focus on that. Alright, so now we're going to discuss our news sources for this video. We're going to read from the Queens Courier. We're going to read from the New York Daily News. We're going to read from Patch. One article from News 4 New York, NBC. A couple articles from Pix 11. And then we're going to wrap up the video by discussing the crime stats for 2020 because they have officially come out. So I want to get into that. And then I'm going to talk about my point of view on why Sarah Feinberg thinks that crime is not rampant in the subway. Because you all know how I feel about Sarah Elizabeth Feinberg. And it's going to have to do with transit. A lot of this stuff's going to have to do with transit. So let's get started. Our first story is fire. Yeah, you heard me. How come the media is not covering important stories like this? I didn't see this on Martin Luther King Day. I didn't see this on any news outlet in New York. One injured in an early morning apartment fire in Jackson Heights. One person was hospitalized after a fire broke out in a 7-story apartment in Jackson Heights back on Martin Luther King Day. On Monday, January 18th, around 7:30 a.m., firefighters arrived to 37-51 86th Street to find heavy smoke and fire inside an apartment building on the 5th floor of the building, according to the FDNY. Responding with 106 FDNY members, the fire department began to battle the blaze, which soon spread into a neighboring apartment, according to the authorities. Heavy clutter in the apartments added complication to bringing the fire under control. Firefighters used 3 hose lines to slow the spread of the blaze, which was placed under control at 8:45 a.m. One resident of the building was taken to a nearby hospital in stable condition. Fire marshals are investigating the cause of the fire. And another fire the media neglected to report, this time in Rosedale. A man died in a fire that broke out in a Rosedale home back on January 20th. Fire department officials first received a call about a blaze inside of 257-54 147th Avenue around midnight. First responders began to battle the flames, which began on the second floor of the house and had the fire under control around 12:30 a.m., according to the fire department. Making their way through the building after they extinguished the fire, the FDNY personnel found a 56-year-old man unconscious and unresponsive inside the home. Sadly, the man, whose name is being withheld until his family is notified, was pronounced dead at the scene. The fire marshal is investigating the cause of the fire. So, 2 fires, no mentions of it on the media. Very big deal. Very big deal. The 2 fires were not even brought up in Queens. So now we're going to get into another problem that seems to be happening a lot lately. Apartment robberies. So, one story we're going to read is from Astoria, and then another one is in Flushing. So let's read this one in Astoria, because you all know how I've talked about Astoria and how we're witnessing the downfall of the once great neighborhood known as Astoria. Well, now we're seeing it again. Let's see. That happened on Broadway. Oh no, are you kidding me? Yep, I'm going to make sure I look this up on my phone as I read along with this. NYPD is looking for a man who broke into and stole several packages from an apartment building in Astoria earlier this month. On Tuesday, January 12th, around 3:20 p.m., an unidentified man walked into the foyer of an apartment building at 21-34 Broadway and tried to force the lobby door open, according to the police. After he was unable to open the door, he left on foot and headed down the street to another building. So, let me just confirm this address. I'm just looking it up. Are you kidding me? Right across the street from the post office. Oh my goodness. This is what I mean about Astoria. I've talked about this. I did a whole video about why Astoria is seeing the problems lately. And then he went right down the street. 23-24 Broadway. The man tried to enter a lobby of a building. The man eventually broke the door handle off, shattering the glass into the foyer. Video of the incident shows. Once inside, the man grabbed 3 packages belonging to the tenants of the building and fled on foot in an unknown direction. But I can't believe this happened right by the post office. The post office is literally in the shopping plaza where 21st Street is. Oh my goodness. Again, this is Astoria, folks. This is Northwest Queens. Police described the suspect as being 5 feet 7 inches tall, so the same height as me. He was last seen wearing a black and white hooded sweater, dark pants, white and gray sneakers, and a light-colored mask. So we do have a video of the incident, sadly, of one of them. So we know the drill. If you have any information, the English number for Crime Stoppers is 1-800-577-8477. In Espanol, 888-57-74782. And keep in mind, there is a lot of diversity in Northwest Queens, because you have Queensbridge, and then you have the other Latino population who's moved into that part of Queens. So that's why I'm giving the Smash phone number out. Public can also submit their tips by logging on to the Crime Stoppers website at nypdcrimestoppers.com or on Twitter at nypdtips. You can also remain anonymous. That's not the one in Flushing. You apologize. I thought there was an apartment robbery in Flushing. Well, guess we'll get into this, since this does count as robbery. So look at this. There's been a robbery spree in Flushing, right by Roosevelt Avenue. So here we go. It says this has been going on since December, and it's been going on this month in January. The men have been accused of stealing $5,000 in cash and products over the past 2 months. So this has happened in the confines of the 109 precinct, because the 109 precinct is not too far from where Main Street is in downtown Flushing. Alright, so here we go. Oh, look at this. They robbed the Starbucks right across the street from the library. Look at this. December 12th around 4 a.m. They opened the secure door at 41-02 Main Street. Yep. So that's literally right across the street from where the library is on Casino Boulevard. So the men... this is one suspect, right? Oh yeah, he's definitely getting caught. Look how... Again, when I've done these videos, I've discussed how dumb these criminals are. Ha! Look how stupid this is. You can tell that's his lips. Oh my god. Again, this is how stupid these criminals are. They don't know how to get away with crimes. Alright, here we go. Once inside, the suspect took $1,200 in cash from the register at Starbucks and then fled on foot. Oh, and then look at this. Went to 132-06 Maple Avenue. So not too far from where the Starbucks was. The man thankfully didn't take any property. And then, the same morning, the burglar forced open the front door of a restaurant of 40-9 Prince Street. He took $1,000 in cash and electronics. And then, the day before Christmas Eve, the man broke into a bakery at 136-85 41st Avenue. So not too... Literally, that's right by Main Street. A bakery employee showed up that morning to find the man had taken around $100 in cash from the register. And here we go. The burglaries then go into the new year. On January 2nd at 1 a.m., the same suspect broke into a bakery at 37-25 Main Street. He broke open a locked front door, and then he took $400 from the register and fled in an unknown direction. The next weekend, on January 9th, at 8 p.m., the man broke into a cell phone store at 135-37 40th Road in Flushing. The man took around $2,600 in cash and electronics. Alright, so then this is the last incident. The suspect broke into a restaurant at 59-10 Main Street. Ha! So, let me get this straight. He actually went down the street. 59-10. And that address sounds very familiar to me. Just making sure. Oh, this is not good. Literally not too far from where Castina Quarter Park is. See, again, I'm not surprised this has been happening. Alright, they have the suspect as being 20 and 30 years old. He was last seen wearing a green jacket, red hooded sweater, black pants, gray and black sneakers, a black and gray face mask, and a black backpack. And no arrests have been made, so... Staying in Flushing, robbery happened. So this happened at College Point Boulevard and Roosevelt Avenue on December 23rd, around 11:30 p.m. Two identified men approached a 21-year-old man who was standing at the corner of College Point Boulevard and Roosevelt Avenue. The two men punched the man in the face and stole $10 from him. And they went into a residential building at 40-05 College Point Boulevard. The 21-year-old was taken to Elmhurst Hospital in a stable condition with swelling and bruising to his face. Okay, this is the apartment robbery I was looking into. Happened in Ridgewood. Oh, look at this. A mailroom of an apartment building. So this happened at 16-80 Madison Street in Ridgewood. So not too far from where Seneca Avenue is. Because right around the corner, you have the Rite Aid by Myrtle Avenue. And am I surprised this happened? No, because that's literally the border of where Bushwick is. So, the unidentified man, 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday, December 30th, began to ring multiple apartments in the building. Eventually, he gained access to the building and made his way to the mailroom. He took a package with a bracelet inside value of $50. And then the police officers in the 104th Precinct recovered photos of the suspect from inside the building. No arrests have been made and the investigation has been ongoing. So they quickly mention the burglaries have gone up. So we'll get into that. And it's been a lot of package thefts. So calendar year 2020. So I bet they're still going up this month alone in 2021. Creep attempts to rape woman at knife point on Woodhaven Street. So this got a lot of media attention. Believe it or not. Police are searching for the man who threatened a woman with a knife, told her not to scream, and attempted to rape her in Woodhaven back on January 22nd. Police say a 58-year-old woman was walking northbound on 92nd Street around 6:30 p.m. when an unknown man approached her from behind and pushed her to the ground. The man, who the NYPD say is approximately 30 years old with a light complexion, flashed a knife, mounted the woman, and grabbed $5 in cash from her. The suspect covered the woman's mouth, told her not to scream, and then began to forcibly remove her pants before binding her on her exposed left hip. At that point, a passerby approached, and the suspect fled southbound 92nd Street. So the woman was taken to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center, stable condition. The woman sustained a bite wound to her hip. So, believe it or not, they have obtained a video at the 85th Street Forest Parkway subway station. The suspect had a medium build and black hair and was last seen wearing a black leather jacket, a black shirt, black pants, black shoes, and black backpack. So, they do have a video of the suspect. Shooting in Glendale. Let's get into this. So this is our second and last article from the Courier. The police are looking for a person who fired a gun on a 45-year-old man in Glendale earlier this month. On Friday, January 15th, around 8 p.m., a 45-year-old man was inside his car when he was near Cooper Avenue and St. Felix Avenue when he was approached by an unidentified person. The stranger fired several shots at the man, hitting the car's door frame but not injuring the man. The shooter then fled eastbound on Cooper Avenue, according to the police. And then here's something really disgusting that happened on the Queens Boulevard, man. Elmhurst man arrested for masturbating while on the E train. Let's get into this. The NYPD cuffed an Elmhurst man after he allegedly masturbated on a train in Long Island City earlier this month. Fanuc Rosman, age 30, was arrested back on Wednesday, January 13th and was charged with public lewdness after he was allegedly caught publicly masturbating while riding an E-train near Court Square. Rosman was spotted by a 56-year-old woman who took a photo of the incident on her phone. So, disgusting. Just really disgusting. Bet he exposed himself. I want to see if they have a story about something that happened in Bayside. Let me see, because it's not a crime story. It's kind of important. No, that's not it. Okay, let me Google it. Stop and shop Northern Boulevard. Let's see if they have something about it. News. Yeah, here we go. This is from the Courier. So, this is definitely the last article we're reading from the Courier. So, this is the Stop and Shop on Northern Boulevard on the corner of Douglaston Parkway. Not Douglaston, excuse me, Marathon Parkway, right by McDonald's. Okay. According to a spokesperson for Stop and Shop, its northeast location at 249-26 Northern Boulevard is set to shut down, but the company did not confirm a specific date. A company spokesperson said, Stop and Shop conducts reviews of its business performances on a regular basis, and this store was identified as an underperforming relative to financial expectations. An exact closing date has yet to be determined. All Little Neck store associates will have the opportunity to transfer to other Stop and Shop locations, said the company spokesperson. Following the closure of the now-defunct Grand Union Supermarket in 2000s, Northeast Queens residents look to Stop and Shop as a replacement. So, this place opened in 2003. Wow. So, Patch reported that Little Neck Supermarket is slated to stay open through 2021. So, that's good news. So, look at this. This is the original article from January of 2003. So, I'll quickly read it. So look at this. So it used to always be to go to Great Neck or Bayside. Right. So this is just sad. Very, very sad that yeah. I mean, this was a big deal when it first opened. I mean, Frank Padovin even attended the opening ceremony. Oh yeah, I remember Congressman Gary Ackerman. Ah, these are the good old days. And Borough President Helen Marshall. See, this was a big deal when it first opened because back in 2003, it was technically our only Stop and Shop in Northeast Queens. It technically was. I mean, this was a big deal when it first opened. I kind of remember this. Because we always used to complain, oh, why do we have to go to New Hyde Park all the time? But then, over the years, I wasn't happy with the small store size. Alright, so let's get into other crime news. Crooks steal unmarked cop car in the Bronx and strip it for car parts. Let's get into this. So let me see if I can zoom in. That way you all can read it. That's better. A group of brazen bandits stole an unmarked cop car in the Bronx and stripped it for parts, police said Sunday. So this, the 24th, they first reported this. They jacked a Ford Taurus from East 167th Street and Fox Street around 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, January 19th, and drove it into a mile of the parking lot on Bloom Avenue near 174th Street near Crotona Park, where they stripped the car down, police said. So look at this. They actually have a video of it. Look at this. I mean, look how they're trying to just strip the car for random parts. It must be expensive stuff in there. So there was a video of it. Yeah, look at them just stand around. At least they were wearing masks. Give them credit on that. The thieves, 3 men and a woman, removed the car's wheels and various contents from the inside. It is unclear whether the crooks could tell the vehicle belonged to the NYPD, as some unmarked cars have radio equipment inside and others do not. So, the female suspect was wearing a black hoodie and blue pants and was holding a bag and drill, and the second suspect was wearing a red beanie and a gray shirt with 2 white strips on each arm. The third suspect was wearing a black hoodie and blue pants, while the fourth suspect managed to stay out of the camera's view. So, Oh, look at this. Shooting in the Bronx. Why aren't I surprised about this? So here we go. So the man was 26 years old. And he was struck outside of a 6-story building on Brook Avenue near 143rd Street around 8:30 a.m. Oh my goodness. This literally happened on Sunday. Oh my god. And look. See that? The NYPD always does this. Whenever they try to recreate a crime scene, they always take the belongings of a person. So, they left the coat on the street. Wow. And they took the man to Lincoln Hospital in critical condition. So, they're looking into a nearby bodega where the victim may have gotten into a fight before he was slain, police said. Just awful to even hear this. Now here's something even sadder than that. Dog struck and killed by NY City train while running around on subway tracks. And sadly, this was a 2-year-old puppy. It happened in East Harlem. The dog broke free from her owner back on January 23rd. And the dog jumped down onto the tracks. The dog's name was Hope, a mixed breed animal, was taken into the 110th Street station near Lexington Avenue around 10 a.m. She broke free and hopped onto the road bed. Cops responded to several 911 calls, went into the tunnels to look for the Hope, when she was sprinting between 110th and 125th Street stations. Cops were in the process of capturing the dog when she was hit by a southbound 6 train. And then they rushed the dog and they handed her over to Animal Care Center of New York. So, awful to hear this. The dog was killed. Wow. Ah, that is sad. They put the dog down because the dog had a severe head injury and a low heart rate. Ah, that is just sad to hear. I mean, I can understand why they had to put the dog down. The owner admitted that her pooch was not a service dog and was given a summons for bringing a dog into the train station without a carrier. And then they took paw prints of Hope to present to the owner. I mean, that's just sad. I mean, 2 years old. And a puppy still. Oh, I already read this one. Oops. Alright, so. Brooklyn. He was gunned down outside of his building. Cops arrived at the Whitman houses outside Fort Greene Park around 12:30 a.m. to find 24-year-old Devontae Cordero sprawled onto the ground with multiple gunshots to his chest and torso. His family members learned of the tragedy from a close friend who knocked on their door around 3 a.m. The slain man's distraught sister told the Daily News. "The worst knock you ever want to get," said the older sister, gathered with weeping relatives, "so it just stopped breathing automatically, and all we could do was get to Brooklyn Hospital, and they already pronounced him dead." It's just very sad. Brooklyn. You know, whole citywide problem. Oh, and then look at this. Midtown muggers posed as cops, police said. Let's read this. Police are asking for help identifying 2 people accused of robbing a man while posing as police officers in December. Around 7:30 a.m. on December 4th, 2020, the pair approached a 47-year-old man in front of 325th Avenue near 32nd Street. So no surprise that this happened in Midtown. They identified themselves as police officers before pushing the man up against the wall and taking his wallet and cell phone. They then fled in an unknown direction. So there's more stuff we're going to read from Midtown anyway. I have a couple other articles we're going to read. And speaking of important stuff in Midtown, Hudson Yards is closed indefinitely because there have been too many suicides reported. So, happened on January 11th. The man jumped from the vessel. So, not surprised about this. Monday's suicide is the third at the vessel since it opened in March of 2019. Ugh. I'm not surprised about this. Oh, look at this! Manhattan daylight attack. Happened near Canal and Allen Street. I think this is near Chinatown. Yeah. Do apologize about that. Let's just say somebody almost just got into an accident on 73rd Avenue. So let's continue. So, a violent attack happened on a 26-year-old man who was beaten, cut, and a sharp object. So this happened on the 22nd. So it happened Friday at 11:30 a.m. near Canal and Allen Street in Manhattan. Police say Saturday the attackers took the man's cell phone and removed his pants, underwear, and shoes. They also cut him with a sharp object. The suspects fled the scene in multiple vehicles. So the suspect was taken to a hospital and reported in stable condition. The victim suffered lacerations to his head, torso, and hands. So, just awful to... Lower Manhattan. This is technically Lower Manhattan. Now, Allen Street. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Oh! Yep. Right by the Manhattan Bridge. Right by the Manhattan Bridge. Why aren't I surprised this happened? This is definitely right by Chinatown. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, then look at this. Grand Theft Auto reported in Brooklyn. Woman steals USPS truck and crashes into 14 cars. Here we go. A woman who stole a postal truck vehicle and crashed into more than a dozen other vehicles during a dangerous joyride back in Brooklyn on January 15th. Police say Martha Thaxton, 21, stole the unoccupied truck in Bedford-Stuyvesant at 6:30 p.m., took down Fulton Street, and she struck 14 other vehicles during the joyride and then tried to flee, according to authorities. And then here's something stupid. Thaxton was quickly apprehended by officers at Kingston Avenue and Fulton Street. She faces several charges, including grand larceny and reckless endangerment. But technically, there should be a third charge. I mean, wouldn't she get charged with Grand Theft Auto? Okay, that's odd. The FDNY said they identified 8 patients, but each of them refused medical attention. Oh, and then look at this. 78-year-old found dead with a cord around his neck in a NYCHA apartment. Brownsville. Ah. So a woman was found with a cord wrapped around her neck. So, this happened on January 16th. Okay. Happened at NYCHA's Hudson Houses on Powell Street in Brownsville. They found 78-year-old Juanita Cabrillo unconscious and unresponsive just before 7 p.m. Cabrillo was lying on the floor of the hallway of her apartment with a cord around her neck. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The city medical examiner will determine the cause of the death. So let me just take a quick water break. If they rule the death a homicide, it will be the third such case in the Hudson Houses within the last 4 years. So, See what I mean? Look how much stuff is happening in Brooklyn lately. Man was found dead, bound, and lying face down in his Brooklyn apartment building back on January 22nd. Officials say the man, age 46, was found by his caretaker at the apartment on St. Mark's Avenue near Rochester Avenue in Crown Heights. He was tied up with his face down on the floor in the living room. Officers responded to the area at 10:40 a.m. for a report of a robbery inside the apartment. The man was pronounced dead on the scene by EMS. Mother and son punched in random attack on subway in Brooklyn. So take a look at this. There's been a lot of subway incidents going on in Brooklyn lately. Alright, here we go. Police say they're looking for a man who randomly attacked a mother and her adult son aboard a subway in Brooklyn. So this happened on the number 2 train. The 55-year-old woman and her 21-year-old son were Franklin Avenue near Crown Heights at 8 a.m. on January 10th when the unidentified man approached him. He walked up and suddenly hit the woman multiple times in the head and body before striking her son multiple times. The woman and her son sustained swelling and bruising to the... Oh, look at this. It's a typo. Typo right there. To the head and body, but both refused medical attention. Alright, so you get the idea. Look how many incidents we have. Manhattan, shot to death in East Village Street. Look at this. In the East Village, man was fatally shot in a Manhattan street. This happened when? Oh, happened on Martin Luther King Day. Lovely. It happened in Alphabet City. They responded to multiple 911 calls at 8:40 p.m. for a man shot into the corner of Avenue C and East 3rd Street. And the man, 36-year-old, gunshot wound to the chest, subsequently pronounced dead. Yep. Bill de Blasio City in a nutshell. Oh, and then look at this. Look how many disturbing stuff has been going on lately. Okay. Man slashed in the back at Times Square. This got a lot of attention, believe it or not. And it happened on Martin Luther King Day. So the victim was attacked on the Q Line platform at the Times Square station at 6:30 p.m. He was taken to a local hospital, so... Slashing at Times Square. And look at this. Man hit in the head with a hammer. So it happened, happened back on January 12th, this incident. The NYPD said it happened at 11 a.m. inside the 175th Street station along the A line. So, a man struck another man in the head with a hammer on the platform. Oh, okay, so this happened on January 10th. My bad, it said Sunday. 46-year-old victim was waiting for a train on the southbound platform when he was approached from behind by an unidentified man. And then the man was hit in the back of his head with the hammer. Okay, so the victim was treated for head pain, but refused further medical attention. I mean, if you're smashed in the head with a hammer, wouldn't you want to go to the hospital? My goodness. Okay. And then look at this. 7-year-old kid was choked on the Upper East Side. This is awful to even hear this. Right by the Q train station. So it happened on East 86th Street near 2nd Avenue. So, wait a minute, hang on. He was with his older brother. Oh boy. I mean, that is just... the Upper East Side. And you know, this is scary. Gersh Academy was supposed to open a location over there. So let's get into this one. Yeah, and then there was an incident in Harlem. Back on... right. Happened last week. Police released surveillance video of 3 men who first got into a verbal dispute with a 31-year-old woman outside of a liquor store last Monday night. Okay, this happened on Martin Luther King Day. Happened at 5:52 p.m. on West 128th Street near Frederick Douglass Boulevard. Police say 2 of the men kicked the victim multiple times. A man in a red jacket then, according to the police, picked the victim on her forehead. The trio then stole the victim's iPhone 11 valued at $750. And then it says the victim was taken to EMS to a local hospital to be treated for a bite mark with a broken skin to the face, pain, and bruising. So, disgusting. Yep, they gotta be taken off the streets, but you know what's going on. Bail reform! Alright, so let's get into the crime stats. 97% jumps in shootings and 45% increase in murders. They're saying there hasn't been an increase like this in 14 years. Here it is. A 97% jump in shooting and a 45% surge in homicides. So, just awful to even hear that. And here we go. The NYPD said 462 murders in 2020. All 5 boroughs combined. Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. 143 more than the previous years. Shootings also went up. Cops counted 1,531 shooting incidents across the 5 boroughs. 754 more than the previous year, 2019, combined. And look at this. There hasn't been alarming violence since 2006, with 1,565 shootings for reporting, according to, why aren't I surprised? Weakling Dermott said this. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm going to call him that because he's weak. He's weak. He's not standing up to de Blasio. If you cared about crime, you would stand up to de Blasio and Cuomo. But you don't. You don't. Yep. So. Oh, look at this. One awful weekend, 2020. 41 people were shot, 9 fatally in one day. So, this is why I keep saying the bail reform has got to be overturned. Has to be. Yeah, see what I mean? Look at this guy. Look how weak he looks. Look how weak he looks. He doesn't care about you. The wild, wild west out there. And then we're going to wrap everything up by talking about Sarah Elizabeth Feinberg, claiming that crime isn't that bad. This should automatically give her top contention for Loser of the Week in City and State, New York. Alright, so let's read this. Wait a minute. Who said this? Oh, okay, my bad. This is Kathleen O'Reilly. So, she's insisting that subway crime isn't dangerous as people think. The That's technically wrong. We're seeing the crime go up. I don't know where they're getting their number is. Oh my goodness. Subway crime dropped more than 56% last month compared to December of 2019. And then there was a 70% drop in ridership thanks to COVID-19. Overall, major crimes declined 32% year overall and 56% in the months following Governor Andrew Cuomo imposing 4-hour nightly subway shutdowns. In December, meanwhile, every major category, murder, rape, robbery, grand larceny, felony, assault, and burglary was either down or even compared to the previous year. So, look at this. Yep, but then here's the thing. We just talked about Times Square. Oh, and look at this. Station attendant shoved at the Nassau Avenue station. And then there was another incident. Let's see. Let me read this. Let me read this one. Even comes up. Ah. Yeah, and then you have Sarah Feinberg asking for more police. Here we go. So, look what happened. This is the right article. It's going to load up in a second. Woman shoved against moving train on New York City subway platform. So this happened at 59th and Lexington. A 33-year-old woman was shoved against the moving train in Manhattan back on Tuesday, January 19th. The victim was pushed by another woman, 31, into a 6 train that arrived into the Lexington Avenue 59th Street station. Police say the victim was struck the first car of the train and fell back onto the platform. She suffered an arm injury and was hospitalized in stable condition. Thankfully, the suspect was arrested. And Channel 7 made it a big deal. They had like a whole... I think they had like a 2-minute story about what happened. So, yep, this is the reality of New York City, folks. So, that's going to wrap up this video. Stay safe out there. There's going to be more updates about the degrading quality of life in our precious city. So until the next one, please take care.